morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And Phase 4 of the Midnight Alpha has begun this week. And one of the main features of Phase 4 is the Slayer's Rise, which is the new PvP World Zone as well as Epic Battleground. And in today's video, I just wanted to explore it, see what it has to offer, see what we should be anticipating for it, and try and get as much information as we can, because obviously it is still the alpha. There's not a lot of people on it. I have been flying amongst all of these different areas trying to discover as much as I can already before recording this video, but there is just not a lot of players to be able to do any sort of testing. You are also unable to queue for it at the moment. There wouldn't be enough players for it to pop, but you wouldn't be able to queue for it. The training grounds also don't work. So there's not really a good way of being able to get in and really see a lot of like enemy players. But what we can do is look at the layout and kind of see what the intended goals and strategies of the zone are going to be. So the first thing is that it's located in the Voidstorm. After you complete the campaign, you will unlock the Voidstorm, which is the end game zone. And it's split into two halves. It's hard to tell because it just looks like one thing right now, but this is technically a line here. This top part being Slayer's Rise, which is like the main PvP area, and this bottom area being where the raid is and likely where some daily quests or something like that's going to be. And it's kind of like Tol Barad, where it's like split. One half of the island is PvE, one half is like PvP focused. So I am curious to see what goes on with that. You can see at the top that Void Scavenger event, time remaining is 30 minutes, and you can kind of go around this zone, and there's different assaults. They have flying war supply crates that fall from the sky, the same as, you know, in previous expansions, at least for this bottom side of the map in the Voidstorm. You're gonna have to fly to the north, obviously, if you want to enter Slayer's Rise. You can see that the graphics in this zone are absolutely immaculate. It's a very beautiful zone. Considering it's based in the void and endless darkness, but it is very cool. There's black holes in the sky. If you ever wanted to fly into a black hole, you probably can't because they're too far away. But you'll fly up to the north and you'll enter Slayer's Rise. The first thing you'll notice about Slayer's Rise is that there are three posts, basically: Void Post East, Void Post South, and Void Post West. And these are very similar to me as the kind of like capturable events in Hellfire Peninsula, if you remember the Burning Crusade. So if you controlled all three of those points, you gained a significant bonus. Now, when I landed on these capture points and turned them over, once you controlled all three of them, you basically got like extra power in the zone and extra honor gains. I would think it would be kind of cool if it had some influence on the raid like it used to try and encourage everybody to engage in this. But at the moment, it's basically only for players who are actively in the world PvP zone itself. So not going to have any interactions. These are basically like dissected from each other and completely separate. But you can see it's very similar. You just have a flag here you're going to obviously fight for. One point of criticism that I had was that there's not a lot of terrain. Like there's no Z-axis. There's not a lot of walls. It's kind of just like open field, go at her. There's a lot of mobs in the middle. This area reminds me of like Silithus. If you remember, for like the Scarab Lord and the opening gates of Ahn'Qiraj, kind of just like all this open space and a bunch of monsters in between. It does give kind of vibes towards that. This area in the middle looks really cool, where you got like this lane going under bridges, and there are turrets that you can occupy. Another point of criticism for the turrets is that these turrets look like giant void lasers, and they're still using cannonball tech from like 2007. So I don't know about the cannonball tech from 2007. You can also dismount flying players with this. So if players are flying through, you can dismount them. I don't know if that means that we will be able to fly in the Epic BG or if it's just the World PvP zone. But in this turret, you're going to be able to shoot down enemy attackers and kind of go after them if you wanted to. So another way to like combat aerial combat, which I do like that. I'm just not really a big fan of the 2007 cannonball tech when we're in the void. I feel like this could be a little bit cooler, a little bit more strong, but I do like that there are some type of like siege elements with this, given that it's like a world PvP zone and it's kind of like, you know, an epic BG. You've got the Alliance faction, which is posted over here in blue. You can see on the left is like this red tinge, and in the right there's this blue tinge. So I do imagine this is intended to be kind of like the equivalent of like Dun Baldar and Altaric Valley, right? Or where Drekthar is for the Horde. So you get this giant kind of chasm. There's not really anything here, which is why I don't know why they called this like the PvP test phase for the end game, because I kind of sat in the zone for a while and there's not really a lot going on. There's just Vidius over here. He's kind of small for, you know, an elemental void lord, but he's going to be our captain, I imagine. I don't know if the goal of this as a world PvP zone is to eliminate the enemy captain, or if it's just to do random stuff on the map, or what the intent is as far as activities, because while I was here, nothing spawned. I didn't see any crates. I didn't see any events. There is this quest, which maybe we'll go fly over here and see what this is, but I don't think it has anything to do with the zone. So seemingly not a lot that we can do right now in the alpha with regards to it. Maybe this will have more life breathed into it when the beta finally opens. But you do have the different faction bases, the alliance base on this side. You have the capture post on this side. So fighting for these posts in order to get more rewards, obviously. One concern that I have is that the extra rewards that you get is 10% honor gains in Slayer's Rise. But honor, I guess as long as they keep the vicious bloodstones, it'll be like a decent gold farm, you know, participating in this zone. But honor usually gets like phased out pretty quickly. It's Conquest that's a lot more challenging to get. And I don't know if any of you guys are like burnt out like I am, where, you know, you do the crate farming groups. Oh my god, there's a crate. Maybe we should go see if we, this is the first thing I've seen spawn in the zone. We'll go do a crate farm here while we're flying through. But I'm kind of tired of like the crate farming groups where you fly around as 40 people for like 3 hours. So honestly, like getting a decent chunk of Conquest, you know, even if it was capped at like, I don't know, 300 a week or something. So coming to Slayer's Rise could be a good way to get some Conquest on a new character, so you're not just getting kind of dunked on in the rated brackets trying to cap your Conquest and catch that all up. I don't understand where this thing is. You guys see the crate? Am I imagining things right now? Is there a crate in this guy? Is this an invisible crate? I think it might be an invisible crate. So something spawned, but it's not even there. It's going to probably land on this bridge. This would be a good spot for a crate to farm to land. Now, I do think their intent with this zone, and maybe it's because I'm not max level, is there's going to be world PvP quests. So that's likely going to be what's here, where you'll have a bunch of different world PvP quests. Likely there'll be activities just like you'd imagine in any other zone. And maybe those world quests will give more lucrative rewards. My concern is that it's probably just going to give the same rewards as we've come to expect from world quests. And I feel like it's got to be a little bit better than that. We have this giant platform up here, which I can imagine is going to have some sort of world PvP quest tied into it, and it continues even higher. I didn't even go this high last time I was here. I didn't even notice this other ledge. This thing look at these like spine rippers coming out of the ground. The graphics of the zone, they look really cool. I like the TBC throwback. I like the throwback to where it kind of feels like Silithus and the Ankaraji gates. Oh, the war supply crate's actually there now, I guess. I like those throwbacks. They've obviously combined some concepts from Koresh, because this is like a very similar area of expression that we're going to in this zone. My only concern is that there's not really a lot of pillars. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of terrain to like knock enemies off of, or like knock them around, which I think would be fun. Like here in the middle, sure. Maybe it just depends on where the world PvP quests are actually spawning. And I'm a bit interested to see how they intend to like fill the zone, because if honor is the main source of currency, I think players will quickly burn through needing that as the main source, and then what's the reason for coming back here, right? I'm gonna come here just to do the world PvP quest, and maybe I'm incorrect about that. You know, maybe for a casual player who's not able to gear up as fast as I am, this area will be providing, you know, decent value to them throughout all of those phases. That's entirely possible. But you can see this area is kind of more tinged towards red, and I can imagine it's going to be Horde. And I can imagine Alteric Valley, the way that it was described, is that it's a big 40-player clash in the middle, and then you like disperse, and there's different objectives, and there's a bit more of a PvE focus when it comes to the battleground itself. Oh, they actually don't let me in their base now. Oh, wait, what? You just can't walk in the base, but you can fly over the base. You can see Zayadin and the Hate Spire and the Grief Spire here in the PvP zone, and then obviously the other node base that's up towards the top. So as a world PvP zone, I think their goal is to try and make this feel like Timeless Isle, with like TBC elements and with the aesthetic of Silithus from classic WoW. So a little bit of nostalgia vibes with the Missipanera. I think for a lot of people you would consider Timeless Isle to be like a Timeless Isle as far as world PvP content is concerned. So I see the vision there. I see the pros of this area, and obviously I think it's just limited either because I'm not max level, or because there's not really anybody available on the alpha in order to actually take a deep dive look at it. I do like these areas, these bridges. I feel like adding some element of Z-axis, although at the same time they are pruning a lot of the classes and you don't really have knockbacks anymore. So maybe it's not going to be too big of a deal. I'm curious to see what this zone looks like when it's got something to populate it, and what's available in it, and if there's going to be any siege vehicles possibly. When it's actually a battleground itself. But my main concern was just that it's a lot of open space, even for like 80 players, right? Even for like an epic battleground, this is a lot of open space. I would like bunkers and towers. I don't know if you guys like, one of the main things I like in Alteric Valley is the way it splits you up and you get inside these little bunkers and turrets, and you can choose to try and defend the turret the whole BG. Like there's like little mini objectives that aren't really objectives that exist that you can make fun for yourself in those types of modes. I don't know if this is going to have that or not, or if it's literally just going to be a straight Zerg through the middle is what it looks like it's probably going to be. Just a straight Zerg through this lane, and then people can take turrets and pew people that are trying to go straight to the middle. It's just my concern is that it's a lot of open space. How are they going to keep it relevant moving forward? But I just wanted to give you guys like a quick little run through of it, show you the zone, and then hopefully like on the next test phase or when they do the next wave of invites, which I don't know when that's going to be, we're going to be able to actually like see some activity in this zone, because I know for a lot of players, World PvP is like the big thing for them. It's like their first experience with the game, and one of their favorite things to do. So I do hope that this zone is able to deliver on it. This is kind of just what it looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the run through of the zone. Thank you guys very much for watching, and let me know your feedback as well in the comments down below. Like, what do you think of the battleground here? You think it's looking epic? Do you think that this is going to be everything that you're hoping it's going to be as far as World PvP, and will deliver on it? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.